Hello everyone, welcome back to the session. So in the previous session we have seen about some data objects. So what are the data objects? What is the class objects? So let's go for the next topic is the relationship. So how the data objects are related in a class diagram. Okay, so let's go for the what is the relationship. The data objects are connected to one another in different ways. So what are the data objects? Data objects are nothing but some object, whatever the object. Okay, representing the data. So car. So previous example we have taken the car. So what are the data objects? What is its model? What is its car type? So what is the number of tires? So the other objects for the representing of the car. So how can we relate the data objects? What is the relationship between them? So data objects are connected to one another in different ways. So one object to another object will be connected in a different ways. So consider the two data objects. Let us consider. So in order to explain what is the how the relationship between those two. So let us consider the two data objects. One is a person and one is a car. Let it be. So these objects can be represented using the following simple notation. So and the relationships are. So how can we represent the relationship between the person and the car? Okay. The first one is person owns a car. So one person should have one car. So a person is insured to drive a car. So how the person is related to the car, how is relating, the relationship is given to the car. So whether he has his own car. So that means the ownership of the car is the person. At the same time, the person should drive the car. That means he is going to be drive the car. So there is a relationship. How? So the person is driving the car. That means the person is giving some instructions to the car to move. So that is a relationship. Those are the relationship that we can connect the objects between the two objects. Okay. So see, person, car in a diagrammatic model. So here is a person, here is a car. So this is the basic connection between the data objects. So this is single line. So with a single line we are representing so the relationships are represented in two ways. One is only single line. So we have so many, one to many, many to one, like that we have some different relationships. Okay. So this is a relationship. How the person owns the car as well as the person drives the car. So only the person is having some relationship with the car. So car is not having the relationship with person. Only the person is having the relationship with the car. That's why the arrow mark is towards the car. So here car is not driving by the driven by only the particular person. Any person can drive, but the person who is owning that car will drive the car. So that's why the relationship is given like this. So here the relationship is given in simple way, that is a single line. Here the association relationship, we call this as a association relationship. Okay. So this is the relationship between the data objects. The data object should be a person, car, or thing, or place, whatever it is. Okay. If you have seen the previous session, then you can be able to know what is a data object. So next, so we have seen what is the data objects. So how can we make the relationship between those data objects? Now let us go for the next topic, that is a class diagram. So class based model. So in previous sessions we have seen what is the use case. So how the use case diagram can be drawn, and also we have seen some activity diagram, and also we have seen some swim lanes diagram. So apart from all those, so let's go for another one, that is a class modeling, class based modeling. So in terms of the class, how we can do the modeling, how we can do the modeling of the data objects. So in modeling of the class, so we have the two concepts. One is the data objects and next one is the relationships. So what is the data objects we have seen, what is the relationship we have seen. Let's go for what is the class based modeling, what we can do here. So class-based modeling represents the objects that the system will manipulate, the operations that will be applied to the data objects. So in class-based modeling, what we are representing, in class-based we represent the objects. So object must be a thing or place or animal. So whatever it is, whatever the things we are representing, that is considered as a class. Okay, sorry, object. That the system will manipulate. So whatever the objects we are using, we can manipulate. That means we can change the operations that will be applied to the objects. So whatever the operations, that means the functions, the methods that we are using in that, we can also operate on the objects. to affect the manipulation. So whatever the manipulation we are doing in order to affect that one. So in order to work on that, so we will do some operations. So operations nothing but the functions, the methods. So functions or methods. That means people know the programming language. So what is the function? What is the methods? Okay. So function or method is the same. And relationship between the objects. So what is the relationship between the objects we have seen? And the collaboration that occur between the classes. So what is the collaboration between the objects means? So whatever the interrelation between the classes of the objects that are defined. So the elements of a class-based model include objects, attributes, operations, class responsibilities, collaborator, models and collaboration diagrams and packages. So in class-based model, so what are the include is, first one is the classes, and second one is the objects, and third is the attributes, operations. Attributes are nothing but we can use variables. In programming language, we can say that attributes are nothing but the variables. Operations, that means functions. Functions are methods. For example, if you are writing some class diagram, okay, some class C. So in that int A is equal to 10. So add. So in this add we have to write some code. So if this is a class program, in this class program A equal to 10, that is the variables. So functions or methods, add of something we have written in the braces, and here we mentioned some flat braces open and closed. That means this is a one function or one method, we can say that method. So in class-based model, what it include? Classes, objects, attribute, functions, and class and responsibility collaborator that we can call as CRC. And next, collaboration diagrams. So in UML we have some collaboration diagrams. Okay. Apart from use case, apart from class diagrams, apart from the object diagrams, streamline activity diagrams, we have some collaboration diagrams and packages. Okay. So what are those? Let us see later. So let's go for the next one. So first one is identifying analysis of classes. How we have to identify the class? How we have to analyze the class? So we can begin to identify classes by examining the usage scenarios developed as part of the requirements model and performing a grammatical pass on the use cases developed for the system to be built. So whenever we software developer, so first he has to develop some use case diagram. First he will go for the use case diagram. After developing the use case diagram, he has to identify the classes. How the classes will identify is basing upon the scenarios, basing upon the particular conditions, basing upon the particular scenarios developed as part of the requirement model. So whatever the models we have to require, whatever the changes we have to make. So apart from in that, they have to identify the classes. So which one we have to consider the class. So for example, you have some program. Okay, write a program for addition of two numbers. So if it is a Java program, so then what you consider? So class, you will give some class. Either it is C program, either it is C++ or Java. So you have to write first class program. So how you identify the class program? So the program is to addition of the two numbers. That means class, we can keep the name as the addition. Like that, software developer has to identify the classes. So in order to draw the diagram, in order to model the model based. So in this model, class based model, they have to identify the classes first. So analysis classes, after identify the classes, so they have to analyze the classes and manifest themselves in one of the following ways. How to analyze, how to manifest, how to he has to see. So first he recognizes, okay, these we can make the classes. Person is one class, car is one class, let us say. Okay. So how we have to analyze those? So first one is the external entities. So entities is nothing but some objects. We can also entities called as the objects. So external objects, for example, other systems, other devices or other people. So external means not only within the program, outside from the outside environment, we have to take anything. For example, so in order to show the PPT over in this smart board, I am keeping some external device. What is that? USB. That means a pen drive. So I am placing the pen drive over there. So when I keep the pen drive, then only I can able to see my PPT, whatever I prepared in my system. Like that. So in order to draw the class diagram, so they have to see what are the external entities can be involved in that. Okay. And next one is things. So what are the things? So that are part of the information domain of the problem. So for example, in the person or car, so what are the things in there? So car means person has to drive the car. So person has to drive the car means what he has? First he has to hold the key. So then he has to know the how to drive. Okay, that are the things. Next, occurrence or events. So when he was driving a car, so what are the events? If there is any obstacle came in between his route, so what he has to do? He has to apply the brake. So that is the one event. Or he has to stop the car. So that is the one event. Like that. So property or transfer of the completion of series of robot movements. Whatever the movements we have to do. So that is the occurrence or events. And next one is the roles. So what roles are playing? So whether he is a software developer, whether he is an engineer, or whether he is a manager or salesperson. So who is interacting with the system? So we have to see or we have to analyze. So whatever the classes we have to prepare. So first we have to identify the classes. After identify the classes, we have to make the analysis of those classes. How to analyze? First one is we have to know what is the external entities are involved in the classes. And next one is what are the things we have to consider into it. And next one is what are the occurrences or events. And next one is roles, who are interacting with the system. Okay, so these are they have to consider before drawing the class diagram for the software product. So next one is organizational unit, and next point is organizational unit. So what type of organization unit are you working? So it is working for the team, or it is working for the some division purpose. Okay, that are relevant to an application. So what application we are developing? So which people are interact with that? So how many people are interact with that? Like that. Next one is places. So that establish the correct content of the problem and the overall function of the system. So manufacturing floor or loading block, whether which place where we have to consider. And next is structures. So what structure means how the object is. That means whatever the class diagram you are drawing for that. So what is the system? Whether it is a sensors, it depends upon the sensors, or it is a four-wheeled vehicles or a computers. So that define the class of objects are related to class of objects. Okay. And next one is these are the analysis of the classes. And next one is so after defining all those things, two persons code COAD code and order Ordon suggests 6 selection characteristics that should be used as consider each potential class for inclusion of the analysis model. So in order to analyze the models, so those are the steps we have to follow. Apart from that, we have to consider some 6 principles, 6 selection characteristics. So if you consider all this, then we can go for further. Okay. So what are those? Let us see. So retained information. So retained information. So what is the information we have? So in order to draw the class diagram, so what are the information we have to keep in your mind? And next, needed services. What are the needed services? It must. That means what are the operations we have to perform on that class? So ATM. So ATM is what are the operations we will do? We have to insert the card. Then only the operation will be move forward. So if you not insert the card and ask the ATM to show that your balance message will not show. It will show only when you insert the card. Okay. So the potential class must have a set of identifiable operations that can change the value of its attributes in some way. And next one is multiple attributes. So it has a multiple attributes, that means multiple variables. Not only a variable, you will have so many of variables. Then how we have to do? So during requirement analysis, we should be focused on the major. So that's why we said that only major of the requirements we have to consider. Then only this will be simplified. So in the requirement analysis only, if you take the more and more requirements as per the stakeholder, then this part will become hard, because if you take the more and more analysis requirements, then what you have to do for each requirement, you have to draw the each classes. So and also for each requirement, what are the class diagrams you have drawn, you have to connect both those diagrams. That makes the most difficult purpose in the software engineering. Okay, so when focusing on the requirement analysis, we have to consider the further steps, and we have to consider only some requirements which are useful for the development of the software product. And common attributes. What are the common attributes? That means common variables. So class diagram, classes. So whatever the program you are writing, so which variable has to be used? So which variable we repeatedly use? That means commonly we can use some variables which will carry the values to the one class to the another class. Okay, so that we have to consider. And next is common operations. Some common operations, whether addition or subtraction, whatever it is, some operations. Operation are nothing but functions. Here the operations are nothing but functions or methods. So which functions will be used commonly? So we have to consider that. That next one is essential requirements. So what are the essential requirements for that? So what we have to take in the problem. So which problem if we consider some, then we can get the output. Okay. So information essential to the operation of any solution for the system will almost always be defined as classes in the requirements model. So in requirements model, so mostly they will be defined as the classes, because if they define in classes, then this step will be very easy for the developers to move forward. So if they not define the classes in the previous requirement model, then this step will be very hard to them. So if the use cases you draw as per your wish, then it will make a more complicated one to take the classes. Okay. And next is specifying attributes. So we are saying that attributes. So how do we have to specify the attributes? So attributes describe a class that has been selected for inclusion in the requirements model. So attributes are nothing but we said that variables. What are the variables we are using in that? Okay, in essence, it is the attribute that define the class, that clarify what is meant by the class in the context of the problem space. So basing upon the variables what you are using, basing upon the attributes, we have to define the class. So to develop meaningful set of attributes for analysis of a class, you should not study each use case and select those things. Okay, in order to develop some meaningful values, that means meaningful variables if you want to take in your class system, so that is mainly depends upon the use case, whatever the use case you have drawn. From that you can take some attributes, that means some variables. And next, what is operations? I said that what operations, we have to do some operations. In class diagram we have seen some of the sets. Let us go through that. See, here we said that include class, objects, attributes, operations. We have seen classes and objects. So now we are, and also we have seen the attributes. Now we are going for the operations. What are the operations? Okay, so that is a topic we are seeing now. Specifying attributes. This is completed. So defining operations. Okay. So in defining operations, so operations define the behavior of an object. So what is the operation? The meaning of operation is the behavior of an object. So behavior means the function what we are writing regarding that. So what the function it is doing. So that is the operation. Okay, behavior. All the many different types of operations exist. They can generally be divided into 4 categories. So already operations are categorized into 4 types. So there are, first one is operations that manipulate data in some way. So for example, adding, deleting, reformatting and selecting. So this is the first operation. Second operations are that perform a computation, some calculation. And next, third is operations that inquire about the state of an object. So at particular state, what is its we can say, so at particular time, what is its variable data type? That means what is the after doing some operation, so what is the variable data type? So whether it is a integer one, whether it is some state, what is its state? So some of the operations requires the state of an object. And next, fourth one is operations that monitor an object for the occurrence of it controlling an event. When one event is occurring, so when we are controlling some event is nothing but some action we are performing upon the action. So what are the operations we have to do on that? So what are the functions we have to perform on that? Switch cases like, okay. So these are the four types of the operations we can perform. So class diagram. So up to now we have seen the what is the classes, what is the objects, what is the attributes, what are the operations. Now let's go for the and also relationships. So now let's go for the class diagram. How the class diagram? See, the class diagram will be represented in a rectangular box divided into three parts. One is the class name. This is the class name. And second part, this part is the attributes. And this part is the operations. So operations are nothing but the functions. I said this is a function. See, so braces, the some text with the braces, that is called as a method or function. We can also call it as function or method. Okay, so this is the class diagram. So this is the class diagram. Class name of the class. So the first part is the name of the class, and the second part is called as the attributes. That means the variables that we are giving. This is called as the attributes. And thirdly, so whatever the functions you are mentioning, these are the operations. In technical term, operations, but in programming model, we can say that functions are methods. So this is the class diagram. So the class diagram represented will be like this. Okay. And next coming to, so in the class diagram you will see the what is the class responsibility collaboration. So CRC. So about this CRC modeling we will see in the next session. We will not complete today's session. So by today the summary is, so we have seen the relationship. So what are the relationships between the objects? And we have seen the class-based modeling. So in class-based, how the modeling has to be done. So how the data objects can be represented. So in this class-based modeling, we have seen the classes. What are the classes? And what are the objects? How to identify. And next we have seen the what are the operations and what are the attributes of that.